Before Kobe became Kobe, there was another 6'7" guard who played the game like nobody his size was supposed to. Magic Johnson's vision, Jordan's scoring instincts, a point guard's handle, and the athleticism to finish above the rim. His name was Penny Hardaway. And before Kobe became the superstar we know today, Penny was already being talked about as the future of the NBA. He wasn't just a great player. He looked like the next one. Then the knees took everything away. To understand why Penny Hardaway became one of the most talked about young stars in basketball, you have to go back to 1993. The Orlando Magic had the first pick. But just minutes later, the entire future of the franchise changed. Orlando traded Webber to Golden State and brought back the third pick, Penny Hardaway. The player everyone would soon call Penny Hardaway. And almost immediately, it became obvious why Orlando had made the move. He was 6'7", but he didn't play like a 6'7" player. He saw the floor like a point guard, handled the ball like one, and attacked the basket like a wing. As a rookie, Hardaway averaged 16 points, nearly 7 assists, and 5 rebounds a night. He made the All-Rookie First Team and finished second in Rookie of the Year voting. And at All-Star Weekend, he gave the league another warning. He won Rookie Game MVP, but his rookie season was only the beginning. Because the following year, Penny didn't just become better. He became a star, 20-point scorer, 7 assists a game, an All-Star, and an All-NBA first-team player. At just 23 years old, Penny Hardaway wasn't waiting for the future. He was already becoming it. And it didn't take long to find out. The hype was real. As a rookie, Penny immediately looked like he belonged. He wasn't just playing alongside Shaq. He was already becoming the engine of Orlando's offense. He averaged 16 points, nearly 7 assists, and over 5 rebounds as a rookie. And suddenly, Orlando had something special. Then came the leap. Year 2. 20-point scorer, 7 assists a night. And suddenly, Penny was an All-NBA player. And Orlando wasn't just getting better. They were becoming a contender. The Magic won 57 games. Penny and Shaq were no longer a promising young duo. They were a problem. And then came the playoffs. Orlando swept Boston, beat Chicago, and reached the Eastern Conference Finals. They eliminated Michael Jordan and the Bulls in 6 games. Think about what was happening. A 23-year-old Penny Hardaway was leading a young Orlando team past Michael Jordan. The future wasn't coming. It had arrived. And suddenly, Penny was playing for a championship. 2 years into his NBA career, he was in the NBA Finals. Penny was only 23. Shaq was 22. They had the talent. They had the size. They had the time. and it looked like Orlando's future was already written. But the finals weren't the end of Penny's rise. They were just the beginning. The following season, Penny took another leap, and this time, there was no question about it. He was one of the best players in the NBA. 21 points a game, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, and all NBA first team. Orlando won 60 games. The Magic were no longer the young team trying to prove they belonged. They were one of the teams everyone else had to beat. And Penny was no longer living in Shaq's shadow. He had become a superstar in his own right. And there was one more name that kept appearing whenever people talked about Penny. Michael Jordan. Not because Penny was Jordan, but because, for the first time, people were asking, could Penny be that guy? He was only 24. He was 6 feet 7 inches. He could score. He could create. He could control a game. And he was just getting started. For Orlando, the future looked almost unfair. They had Shaq, they had Penny, and they had time. A lot of it. But sometimes, the future doesn't ask for permission. And Orlando was about to find out how quickly everything could change. For Orlando, the future looked almost perfect. Then Shaquille O'Neal left Orlando. He signed with the Los Angeles Lakers in the summer of 1996. Penny later admitted that when he heard Shaq had signed with the Lakers, he was devastated. He knew exactly what Orlando had just lost. But Penny stayed. And now, the entire franchise was on his shoulders. The expectations didn't disappear when Shaq left. They got heavier. Every night, Penny had to prove Orlando could survive without Shaq. And then came the playoffs. Orlando entered the first round as the 7th seed. Waiting for them, the 2nd-seeded Miami Heat. Miami won the first 2 games, and it wasn't close. Orlando was down 2 games to none. Then Penny exploded.
Back to Hardaway. Tim Hardaway falls down. Mashburn got
Game 4, 41.
18 points.
And in Game 5, 33, 42, 41, 33. Penny had nearly dragged Orlando past Miami by himself. Across the 5 games, Penny averaged 31 points a night. And that's what makes what happened next so hard to understand. Because Penny wasn't finished. Not even close. But there was something we didn't see coming. Penny's body was already warning him. During the 1996-97 season, Penny battled a left hamstring problem. That injury was followed by a tendon problem in his left knee, and he missed 23 games. But Penny still made the All-Star team. He was still an All-Star. That's what makes the story so painful. Even while his body was breaking down, Penny was still one of the best players in basketball. Then came the following season, and the problem wasn't going away. The damage in Penny's left knee became more serious. He tried to play through it. He played just 19 games, and the player who once seemed unstoppable was now trying to save his career. The knee would change everything. Because Penny's greatest weapon wasn't just his height, it was his movement. The burst, the first step, the ability to change direction before defenders could react. The injuries weren't simply taking games away. They were taking away the player who made those games possible. And suddenly, the question wasn't, how great could Penny become? Could he ever be Penny again? But Penny wasn't ready to disappear. In 1999, he left Orlando for Phoenix. And for the first time in years, Phoenix had Jason Kidd. They had Penny Hardaway. They called it Backcourt 2000, and Penny could still play. In 1999 to 2000, he averaged nearly 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists. But if you watched closely, something was different. The explosiveness wasn't the same. The body wasn't the same. Penny himself admitted it. After being out for so long, he said he had played more protectively because he didn't want to get injured again. Then came another setback. Then came another setback. In 2000 to 2001, Penny played just 4 games. He underwent microfracture surgery on his knee. The player who once seemed indestructible was now fighting just to stay on the floor. And somehow, he came back again. He played 80 games, but he was no longer the player Orlando had once feared losing. The numbers weren't the only thing that changed. His game changed. The speed, the lift, the freedom. Then came New York, another team, another chance, and another reminder that the old Penny was gone. And then, years later, Penny and Shaq were together again, this time in Miami. He had one last comeback left, but this wasn't the Penny from Orlando. The player who once looked destined to rule the NBA was now fighting simply to stay in it. And that's when the question changed. Not how good was Penny, but how good could he have been? And that's the question that has followed Penny Hardaway for nearly 3 decades. What if his knees had held up? Because we don't have to imagine what Penny looked like at his best. We saw it. He made the All-NBA first team in both 1995 and 1996. And in 1996, he finished 3rd in MVP voting. This wasn't a prospect people were projecting into greatness. Penny was already there. He was already one of the best players in the world. 21 points per game, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 2 steals at 6'7". And remember, Penny was only 24. His best basketball wasn't supposed to be behind him. Imagine giving that player another 5 healthy years. Not 20 years, not some fantasy career. Would he have won an MVP? Maybe. Would he have won championships? Possibly. Could he have become one of the defining players of the post-Jordan era? Absolutely possible. But there was another variable. Shaq left Orlando, and that changes the entire equation. But history doesn't care about potential. Shaq left. Penny's knees failed him, and the future everyone imagined never happened. Maybe that's why Penny's legacy feels different. Not because he didn't accomplish enough, but because we saw enough to know there was so much more. So maybe the real question isn't, what would Penny have become? Maybe it's, how much did we lose? Penny Hardaway never became the legend many expected him to be, but for a few years, he gave us a glimpse of one. And sometimes, the most powerful stories aren't about what happened. They're about what almost did. Because behind every statistic, there's a story. And behind every legend, an echo.